Welcome back to another Power BI tutorial. If you like the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can easily map your database schema using Power BI. If you've ever worked with databases, you'll realize that the hardest part is when you dive into a new database and you don't know the table structure and you don't know which columns join to other columns to join tables together. But in this video, I'm going to show you how you can totally skip this phase of not knowing the database and be able to visualize which tables join to other tables on what columns. So if you take a look at this visualization right here, you can see that we have about 5 tables here. The tables are the green circles and they join to other columns on these red circles. So you can see that the dim product subcategory table joins to the dim product category on this column over here. Let's zoom in a little bit to see that column name. And you see it's the product subcategory key. And you see that the dim product subcategory table joins to the dim product category table on the product category key. So this is an awesome visualization to be able to see which columns join 2 different tables. And you can go the other way. I have 5 tables selected. We can get rid of those tables and we can refresh the size. And we see this is actually our entire table structure in our database. And this is showing all these different relationships. But let's say we want to show which tables join on employee key. We'll just click on employee key and we see that there are 3 tables that join on employee key, which is dim employee. That looks like, let's zoom in a little bit. That looks like fact sales quota, and let's just resize it, and fact reseller sales. So, and that shows us by slicing these tables. So if we add another column that joins on, we see that English occupation doesn't have any tables that join to any of the employee tables. So it's a really cool way to be able to see your relationships visually. So let's go ahead and build this, and we can build it in under 5 minutes, which is the awesome part of it. So let's go ahead and go over to our SQL Server Management Studio. And this is the entire query that we need to run in order to get this to work. But we're going to walk through this step by step. So let's go ahead and open up a new query. And we are just going to start by selecting from information schema.columns. This is actually querying your database to see all the different columns you have. And we are going to take we're actually going to alias this to C, and we're going to take the C.table name and C.column name. And once we run that query, we will see that these are all of our different table names. First of all, make sure you're on your proper database. You want to be on the database that you actually want to visualize. It's AdventureWorks DW 2012 for me. So make sure that's selected. So this is showing all the different tables and all of the different columns in those tables, just stacked on top of each other. That's awesome, but not exactly what we want, because we want to show a visualization that shows only columns that can be joined to other columns. Meaning this is going to show a lot of columns that maybe are only on one table. Like maybe taking an example, fact internet sales has unit price and that may not be on anything else. Or for sure I know that fact internet sales has a sales amount, which is basically the order amount. So that's not going to be on another table. So let's go ahead and filter that out, because that's not going to join to another table. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to inner join to a subquery of the same query that we just did. So we're going to select from information schema.columns, and we are going to select column name, but we're going to group by column name, having count of star greater than 1, and close off the select. So basically this is just selecting column name where there is more than one of that column name. So let's go ahead and select this and run it. And this is a list of all the columns that have at least more than one instance over the tables. So middle name will show up in at least 2 tables in our database. So we have to name this subquery. We'll call it dupes for duplicates. And let's join it to our original query by saying on dupes dot column name equals c.column name. So by inner joining it, we're only selecting the columns that have more than one instance to the original table. So it's only going to ever show us columns that have more than one in a table. So let's go ahead and run this. And since it all works, we have 243 rows. Just to show you, there were 418 rows total, but by inner joining to just the columns that have more than one, we're filtering it down to 243 columns. So as we look down here, we can see that customer key is at least more than one instance across the tables, and it comes from the dim customer table in this instance. So that's exactly what we want. Let's go ahead and copy this, and we're going to jump over to a new Power BI file, and let's go ahead and get data and choose SQL Server. Let's put in our server. For me, it's BI SQL Express, and database is AdventureWorks DW 2012. Let's go ahead and go to advanced options, give it a 1 minute of command timeout, and go ahead and paste in our query and click OK. And here is our, this is what our query returns. Let's click load. And we'll apply. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this real quick to data, because I don't like it looking like query 1. And let's take a look at our table. So this is exactly what we saw in SSMS, but this is all of our data. So let's go ahead and download a couple of custom visualizations. I'll include the download links in the description, but basically we're going to AppSource and we're downloading the network visualization and filter by Zoom Charts. It's a really cool network visualization filter, or network visualization that I found works very well with this kind of chart. And we are also going to download the Chiclet Slicer because it's a really awesome slicer that allows you to select multiple values in a really elegant way. So let's go to our Power BI file and import these custom visuals. So we'll import the Zoom chart, the network visualization, and we will import the Chiclet Slicer. All right, now that those are both imported, all we have to do is open up a new network visualization and throw in the table name in a node, the column name in a node under it, and just the table name in the measure. And there is our database schema. So that's awesome. It was really easy to do with just a little bit of SQL and one visualization. Just a note, table name for the first node makes it these green circles, column name makes it the red circles, and the throwing the table name in the measure is only necessary because you have to have something in this measure well, but it's not really doing anything besides making the visualization like work because it needs something in the measure. So let's go ahead and throw in a couple of slicers just like we had it in the first file. Using the Chiclet Slicer, I'm throwing in the table name, and these are all the tables here. I'm going to go to the properties and change the chiclets to a width of, let's see if 300 fits. Not quite, we'll change this to 275. Great, that looks good. Make the text a little bit bigger to 14. We are going to enable search so that we can search for fact, internet, sales. We could select the table that way if we wanted, but we are going to get rid of that. And then we are just going to copy this and paste it down below so that we can throw in our column name instead of table name. So now we have our slicer for column name. Make this a little bit bigger and make this one a little bit bigger. Awesome. So now we have our entire network visualization. So let's go ahead and select a couple. We'll select dim employee and dim geography, and we see that they join on sales territory key. So in case you're trying to actually query your database and you don't know which columns to join on, just look at this visualization and you can just easily determine how to join two tables together. So this is a really awesome trick that you can do in under 5 minutes. So go ahead and give this a try. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next Power BI tutorial.